Hey guys, welcome back. So for today we are going to be going through for today's video, we're going to be going through my Z palette. I have all of my holy grail everyday eyeshadows in this palette. I literally don't go a day when I don't do my... I literally don't go a day where I'm doing my makeup and not reach for at least one or two shadows within this palette. I'm just gonna let you know right now, most of them are Anastasia and Makeup Geek shadows. Those are definitely some of my favorite brands as far as single eyeshadows. So that's what's gonna be in here. And you're gonna notice kind of a color theme throughout this palette of what type of looks I like to do. Let's start off with the Z palette. So I ordered mine off the Makeup Geek website when I was ordering some single eyeshadows. You can do that, or you can of course order them off the Z palette website. I think this one is 20 bucks and this is the large palette. I definitely want to get the extra large next time to hold more shadows because I would like to fit more of my everyday shadows in here because I end up kind of rotating them and switching them out. But this has kind of been my little system for a while now. There are several shadows that always stay in this palette because I always use them. So yeah, we're just gonna go through. As you can see, I have a lot of warmer browns and a lot of purple. So those are kind of my colors that I tend to go for. I like to do a lot of warm tone looks, and then I also like to do a lot of purple looks that I have on right now. Just a bunch of good stuff. So we're gonna go through each shade here. So this first one right here in the corner is Peach Smoothie, and as you can see, I have hit pan on that because every time I do a neutral or warm tone eye look, that is the color I like to start off with as my transition color. It looks really nice blown out into the crease, and it just helps the blending process. Now the next one we have over is Creme Brulee, and this is from Makeup Geek as well. It's a little bit deeper than Peach Smoothie, but still has a little bit of warmth to it. Sometimes I'll mix Creme Brulee and Peach Smoothie together, or sometimes I'll use Creme Brulee as a transition color. This next one is Latte, another one from Makeup Geek, and this one is just a little bit deeper as well. I would say this is more leaning towards like a neutral brown. It's not quite as warm as Peach Smoothie or Latte. It just looks great in the crease for those just like everyday neutral looks. This next one is Fawn, the next one over, and this one is from Anastasia. So Anastasia shadows are a little bit more expensive, I think around $12 or $14 a pan, while Makeup Geek are half the price and only $6 a pan. And in my opinion, Makeup Geek is just as good. Fawn is just a little bit deeper if you're comparing it to something like Creme Brulee. I mean, to be honest, kind of when it's on, this one right here is Creme Brulee and this one is Fawn. They look almost identical. They can look a little bit cool tone. The next one over is Barcelona Beach, and this is another color from Makeup Geek. This one is definitely a little bit more cool tone. I feel like it actually looks a little bit darker on when you have it in your crease than it looks in the pan. That is Barcelona Beach right there. I think it pairs very well with something like Fawn or Latte from Makeup Geek. And now we're gonna get more into the purples here. So this one here, I think it's called, yeah, Dusty Rose, and this is another Anastasia shadow. I love this color, but I feel like Makeup Geek has one very similar to it. I love using Dusty Rose when I'm doing any type of purple or mauve look. That's what I have kind of blown out my crease as my transition color today. As you guys can tell, a lot of these shades here on the top are more mattes, while the ones there at the bottom are either foiled with a little bit of shimmer. So all the ones I've talked about so far are all matte colors. This next one is, I believe it's called Vintage. Yeah, Vintage. And it's a color from Makeup Geek. It's actually one of their newer colors. So it's just a little bit deeper than Dusty Rose. So these two pair really well together. It's actually one of their newer shades from Makeup Geek. So I feel like the formula of this one is even more pigmented and blendable than her other shadows. Now we're gonna move on to the second row down here. And this one, okay. So let me tell you guys a little story. This one actually doesn't have a name because it is from the Morphe 35 T palette. I had that palette and my boyfriend dropped it and shattered it. I was basically forced to depot all of those shadows. I think I lost maybe about 6 or 7 shadows, and I just got like a little magnetic thing to put on the back of the shadow. That way it will stick inside my Z palette. So unfortunately this color here does not have a name. I'm not even sure if it's sold separately, but it is part of the 35T palette. So it's kind of a deeper plum. It looks very similar to something like Vintage, so I wouldn't say you need them both anyways. But yeah, there's that little story. My boyfriend broke my 35T palette. So this one is Cherry Cola from Makeup Geek, and as you can see right next to it is Bitten from Makeup Geek, and they are very, very similar, but I feel like they look different on the eyes, so I just think it's necessary to have both. I end up using them both anyways. Cherry Cola is also one of the newer shades from Makeup Geek, so, you know, had to throw it in there. Two very, very similar berry tone colors. Such pretty shadows. So now we're going to move over to Morocco, which is from Makeup Geek, and it's also one of her newer colors. She came out with an entire line of like new matte shadows, so I ordered a few from that collection. They are permanent shades, so you can still find them on the website. Morocco is just a really intense orange color, and it looks a little intimidating, like what the hell are you going to use that for? But blown out in the crease when you're doing a really warm eye look, yes. Moving over to this next one, which is from Anastasia. It's in the color Sienna. And as you can see, right next to it is Cocoa Bear from Makeup Geek. And these two are very similar. I feel like Sienna is just a little bit more rich and pigmented. So I found myself actually reaching for Sienna a lot more. And that paired with Morocco, yes, that is a solid warm eye look. But Cocoa Bear is definitely one of my top favorites from Makeup Geek as well. They're just very similar, so I don't feel like you need to have both. Next over here, the last one is Brown Script from MAC. Kind of similar to Cocoa Bear, but just a little bit lighter. I find myself using that one a lot too. If I really feel like being extra, I'll throw that in the crease to help blend out Sienna or some of these more rich reddish brown colors. I feel like it works very well for that. This is another Makeup Geek shadow, and this is the color Desert Sands, and it looks kind of like, I don't know, baby vomit. It doesn't look like a very attractive color, but I really like this shade thrown into the crease. I don't know, any type of more brown smoky eye look, I really like throwing that into the crease. It just adds a really cool effect if it's really blown out. The next one is from Makeup Geek, and this is in the color Chickadee. Another color that looks kind of intimidating in the pan, but it looks really great blown out into the crease. So I kind of use that as I would something like Morocco. It's a really pretty unique mustard color eyeshadow, so I find myself using that one a lot too. That is the last of the mattes, I think. Yeah, all the rest are gonna be like foiled, more shimmery shadows. The next one over is from Makeup Geek, and it's one of their, what were they called? Duochrome shadows, and this is in the color Voltage. This is so pretty to throw in the inner corner. It has more of a golden reflect to it. It just looks really pretty on, so I had to put that one in there. And alongside next to it is Shimma Shimma from Makeup Geek. That's one of their regular shadows, but it's really, really shimmery and intense, hence the name Shimma Shimma. Next one is another duochrome shadow in the color, what was the name of this one? Mai Tai. I was thinking this was I'm Peachless, but I don't think I have that one. Yeah, so this one is Mai Tai, and in the pan it looks kind of blah, but when you swatch it, it's like a, I don't know, like a coral pinkish color with gold reflect to it. So I really, really like this color. It looks really pretty. I've even used it as a cheek highlight, and it looks, I don't know, it kind of gives this cool effect. So that's why I have that in here. Next is Cosmopolitan, which is just one of their regular eyeshadows, but definitely more shimmery, I don't know, kind of corally, I don't know. It's just a really pretty color, as you can see. This next one, I guess it's kind of more of a matte shadow. This one is from Anastasia in the color Rich Velvet. It looks matte when you have it in your crease or on your lids, but if you look up close, it does have a little bit of shimmer in it, but I feel like once you have it on, it doesn't even, you can't even notice it. So I kind of treat this as any other matte shadow, but it's such a beautiful deep plum color, and I have that on my lids right now as well. Now we're going on to the last row. This is one of my favorites because it's filled with foiled shadows. Okay, so this one here, I can't even think of the name. Showtime, and this is one of Makeup Geek's foiled eyeshadows. Now these are $10 a pan, $9 a pan, a little more than their standard eyeshadows. Such a pretty color. I actually did a look a while back. I don't think I ever filmed it, but if you guys want to see a like burgundy smoky look, let me know. Now these next two are part of the 35T palette as well. Seriously, I would highly, highly recommend picking up just a couple of the Morphe palettes. You can depot them. I don't know if that's possible. It's kind of difficult. So I think it is possible, but you might have a difficult time. But seriously, if you were just to buy a couple, focus. Okay, this is not working with me right now. And I just feel like if you purchased a couple of those, you'd be good to go. You can just create your own and just look at that foily goodness. So yeah, no names for those, although Morphe sells a ton of single eyeshadows. They're only $2 a piece, so yeah. Definitely hit up the Morphe singles. I will definitely be buying a few myself. And all these are Makeup Geek foil eyeshadows. So this one is the gold one. And this one is called Magic Act. And it's such a pretty foiled gold eyeshadow. Makeup Geek foil shadows, like nothing can top these bad boys. Although the metallic ones in the Morphe palettes are so, so good. They're up there with the Makeup Geek ones. This next one, what is this called? In the Spotlight, and they feel so buttery. They are so pigmented and so metallic and foiled looking. This last one is one of my all-time favorite Makeup Geek shadows in the color Grandstand, and it's just a beautiful taupey rose gold color. Again, it has that really intense metallic finish, so you really just can't beat that. Alright, so that completes all the shadows in my Z palette. I do have two other Z palettes filled with single eyeshadows, but these are my top favorites that have been in here for a while now. I do a little bit of rotating here and there to introduce new shadows to the palette, but for the most part I stick with these, and these are the ones you would see in my tutorials more often. This Z palette definitely comes in handy because it's clear and you can actually see the shadows, so that's why I find myself reaching for this so often, because I can actually see the shadows inside. I'm actually kind of happy that I ended up depotting that one Morphe palette, although it was difficult and I kind of broke a couple shadows along the way. So be very, very careful if you attempt to depot your Morphe palettes. Like I said, I will be planning on ordering some of the new Morphe single eyeshadows. So if I do and you guys want to see a swatch video or review on those, how they compare to the Anastasia and Makeup Geek shadows, let me know, because they're so cheap. I think like only $2.20 or $2.30 a pan, super inexpensive. So if you guys want to see a video on that, let me know. I will order a bunch of those and test them out for you guys. But if you guys enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!